Hello, my friends. In this episode, we're going to discuss some realistic ways to improve your English speaking skills, even if you're short on time. If you're looking for practical tips and tricks to help you on your journey, then you've come to the right place. I'll ensure you that after watching the full video, you will learn a lot of things. Let's start the conversation.
Hi, Robin. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How about you?
I'm fine too. Hey, I wanted to share some tips with you about English speaking. Are you interested?
Sure, I'm always eager to learn new things. What are the tips?
Well, the first tip is to narrate your everyday life in English. This is a very effective technique to improve your speaking skills.
How can I do that? What do you mean by narrating?
I mean, you can talk to yourself or to someone else about what you are doing, what you see, what you feel, and what you think. For example, you can ask yourself questions like, what am I doing? What are those people doing? What do I see around me? What do I want to do next? And then you can answer them in English.
Sounds good. I'll try that for sure. Do you do that too?
Yes, I do. And trust me, if you practice regularly, you will notice a big improvement in your speaking skills. You will become more fluent, confident, and expressive.
Should I speak loudly or softly?
Well, that depends on the situation. If you are alone or with someone who doesn't mind, you can speak loudly. But if you are in a public place or with someone who might be annoyed, you can speak softly or just think in English. The important thing is to use English as much as you can.
I see. Thank you for the tip, Ronika. What is the second tip?
The second tip is to improve your pronunciation. You should pay attention to how native speakers or fluent speakers of English pronounce words and sentences. You should also practice repeating what you hear and correcting your mistakes.
How can I do that? Do you have any examples?
Sure, I have some examples. Suppose you listen to a sentence like, "What a beautiful day." You can repeat it after the speaker and try to imitate their accent, tone, and rhythm. You can also record yourself and compare your pronunciation with the original. You can do this with any sentence or phrase that you hear or read. For example, you can say, "The weather is beautiful," "The sky is blue," "The birds are singing," and so on.
I see. That sounds like a good way to practice. Thank you for the tip, Ronika. Do you have any more tips?
Yes, I have 2 more tips. Do you want to hear them?
Yes, please. I'm curious to know more.
The third tip is to expand your vocabulary. You should learn new words and phrases every day. You can use a dictionary or an app to help you with that. You can also read books, articles, blogs, or anything that interests you in English. You can write down the words that you don't know and look them up later. You can also make sentences with them to practice using them in context.
That sounds like a good idea. I do read some English text sometimes, but I don't always understand everything. I should try to look up the words that I don't know and learn their meanings and usage. Do you have any recommendations for what to read?
Well, that depends on your level and your interests. You can start with something simple and easy, like children's books, comics, or magazines. You can also read something that you are familiar with in your own language, like a translated novel or a movie script. You can also read something that relates to your hobbies, your studies, or your work. For example, if you like sports, you can read about your favorite teams or players. If you are studying science, you can read about the latest discoveries or inventions. If you work in business, you can read about the market trends or the best practices. The key is to find something that you enjoy and that motivates you to learn more.
I see. That makes sense. I think I will try to read more in English and learn new words and phrases. Thank you for the tip, Ronika.
The fourth and final tip is to practice speaking with native speakers or fluent speakers of English. You can join a language exchange program, a conversation club, or an online community where you can meet and talk to people who speak English. You can also find a tutor, a mentor, or a friend who can help you improve your speaking skills. You can ask them to correct your mistakes, give you feedback, and teach you new expressions. You can also learn from their accent, their tone, their gestures, and their culture. You can also have fun and make new friends while learning English.
That sounds like a great tip. I think speaking with real people can help me overcome my fear and nervousness of speaking English. It can also help me improve my confidence and fluency. Where can I find native speakers or fluent speakers of English to talk to?
There are many ways to find them. You can search online for language exchange apps or platforms where you can sign up and find a partner who speaks English and wants to learn your language. You can also look for local or online groups, clubs, or events where you can meet and chat with people who share your interests and speak English.
I see. That sounds like there are many options to choose from. I think I will try to find someone who can speak with me in English and help me practice. Thank you for the tip, Ronika. And thank you for all the tips that you gave me today. You are very kind and helpful.
You're very welcome, Robin. It was my pleasure to share these tips with you. I hope you find them useful and apply them to your English learning. I'm sure you will improve your speaking skills if you practice regularly and consistently. I wish you all the best in your English journey.
Thank you so much, Ronika. You are a great friend and a great teacher. I appreciate your support and encouragement. I will keep in touch with you and let you know about my progress. Have a wonderful day.
You too, Robin. Bye for now.
Don't forget to practice new words. We will learn new words from this conversation. Annoyed, imitate, expand, nervousness, consistently, gestures. She gave me an annoyed look. Can you imitate his accent? Take a deep breath and expand your chest. I think the team played consistently this season.
Let's explore something meaningful today. A true friend. What comes to your mind when you hear that?
Someone who doesn't leave you behind, no matter what happens.
Interesting. So, loyalty stands out to you. Why do you think that's important?
Because it shows they care, even when things aren't easy.
Fair point. But what if someone sticks around just out of habit, not because they genuinely care?
I guess that wouldn't feel real. A true friend should want to stay, not feel like they have to.
Exactly. True friendship isn't forced. Do you think a true friend always agrees with you?
No, not always. They should tell you if you're wrong.
So, constructive criticism is part of being a true friend?
Yeah, but only if it's to help, not to tear you down.
Good distinction. Have you ever had a friend like that, someone who's honest, even when it's hard?
I did. They once told me I was being too harsh with someone. It stung, but they were right.
That honesty must have deepened your trust in them.
Definitely. It made me realize they cared enough to help me be better.
Trust, that's a big word in friendship. What does it mean to you?
Trust is feeling safe with someone, knowing they won't betray you.
And what do you think happens to a friendship if trust is broken?
It's really hard to fix sometimes. It might not even be possible.
True, so would you say trust is the foundation of a true friendship?
For sure, without it, I don't think you can have a real connection.
Well said. Tell me, what else do you value in a true friend?
I'm someone who listens, like, really listens, not just waiting for their turn to talk.
Ah, the gift of listening. Do you think most people listen that way?
Not really. Most people just hear, but they don't listen.
So when a friend truly listens, it feels different, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like they're saying, you matter.
Beautifully put. Let's pause there for now. I want to hear more thoughts in a moment.
Now, let's dive deeper. Earlier, you mentioned trust, loyalty, and honesty. Do you think forgiveness has a place in true friendship?
Definitely. Friends can make mistakes, just like anyone else.
True, but what if the mistake is serious? Do you think a true friend should always forgive?
I think it depends. If the mistake was out of carelessness, maybe. But if it's something like betrayal, that's harder.
That's fair. Forgiveness is complicated. Do you think it's more about the mistake or the way the person apologizes?
Probably both. If they're truly sorry and try to make things right, it's easier to forgive.
That's a mature perspective, so effort matters in a friendship. Would you say effort is a sign of a true friend?
Yeah, it shows they value the friendship and aren't just taking it for granted.
Great point. Now, let's talk about support. How does a true friend show they're there for you?
It's not always about big gestures. Sometimes, just knowing they'll listen is enough.
That's so true, but what if someone isn't good with words? How else can they show support?
By their actions, like being around when you need them, or even just checking in to see how you're doing.
Actions speak louder than words, right? Have you ever had a friend who showed their care through small gestures?
Yeah, one time I was stressed about a test, and they left me a note saying, "You've got this." It was simple, but it meant a lot.
Sometimes the simplest things leave the biggest impact. Do you think being dependable is part of being a true friend?
Absolutely. If someone says they'll be there, they should keep their word.
And what happens if they don't? Can the friendship still feel true?
Maybe, but only if it's a one-time thing and they explain why. If it keeps happening, it feels like you can't rely on them.
So consistency matters. Do you think it's hard to maintain consistency in friendships?
It can be, especially when life gets busy. But if you really care, you'll make time even if it's just a quick message.
That's a thoughtful way to look at it. Now, let's flip the perspective. Do you think you are a true friend to others?
I try to be, but I know I'm not perfect.
None of us are. What's one thing you'd like to improve as a friend?
I think I could listen more. Sometimes I get distracted and don't give people my full attention.
That's an honest reflection. Do you think true friends help each other grow in that way by pointing out areas to improve?
Yeah, but it has to come from a place of kindness. Otherwise, it just feels like criticism.
Exactly. Growth in friendship is mutual. How do you think true friends handle disagreements?
They talk it out, even if it's uncomfortable. Ignoring it only makes things worse.
Very wise. Communication is vital. Do you think it's easy to talk openly with all your friends?
Not always. With some, it feels natural, but with others, it feels like I have to hold back.
That's interesting. Do you think those friendships where you hold back can ever become true friendships?
Maybe, but only if both people are willing to open up.
Vulnerability is a big step. Why do you think some people find it hard to be vulnerable, even with friends?
Probably fear of being judged or misunderstood.
That's very insightful. So, would you say a true friend creates a safe space for you to be yourself?
Definitely. You shouldn't have to pretend or hide who you are around them.
Beautifully said. And in return, do you think we owe our true friends the same?
For sure. It's a two-way street.
It really is. One last question. What's the one thing you'd say is the heart of a true friendship?
I might say it's understanding. When someone truly understands you, everything else, trust, loyalty, support, it all just falls into place.
That's a perfect way to end. Understanding really is at the heart of it all. Thank you for sharing your thoughts today.